All right, this is second grade Module 7, Lesson 3, and in this lesson, students are going to be drawing and labeling, making their own bar graphs to represent the data, plus they're going to be answering some questions. But really the important thing is they're going to be connecting or relating the scale on the bar graph with the idea of a number line. So we're going to begin with the idea of a horizontal bar graph so that it kind of more easily relates to that number line. And then ultimately we're going to do that classic up and down bar graph, which relates to a vertical number line. So let's get started.
So the first thing I want to point out though is we've got here, this is the setup for a horizontal bar graph, and then over here is the setup for a vertical bar graph. So I want to point out something that's really kind of tricky, and this is important for you parents and teachers because we really don't want to mislead our students. So when we look at this classic bar graph, you'll notice that the points, the labels for our numbers are on the lines, not on the spaces, okay? And that's important because we are going to connect or relate these bar graphs to the number line. Now what's dangerous, and I want to point that out, is on this horizontal bar graph that they've provided in the Eureka Math Teacher Edition is showing that down, here's our categories: dogs, cats, fish, turtles, whatever. But down here you'll notice the labels kinda look like, to me anyway, they look like they are in the spaces, indicating the spaces, and that is not what we are looking for. We want those indicators to represent the lines, not the spaces. So really, I'm going to zoom in a little bit, and I would say, if parents and teachers, if you really wanted to be precise, you would put your numbers like this, because that's really what we're looking for, because we want to connect. I mean, if you think about a number line, well, let me finish this: 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Because if you're thinking about a number line, a classic number line, what would that number line look like? Well, we would have a number line, and we would have these little lines like this, and then that's how we would label 1, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We would not write these numbers in the spaces. We would write the numbers on the lines. And that's really what we want our bar graph up here to relate to. So that's why we don't want to put the numbers in the spaces as the original template is showing you. So that's just kind of a little bit of a Duane Habecker opinion, just a heads up on that. And along with that opinion that I was just expounding on, you'll notice on here, the bar graph, the lines, the spaces for you to write your numbers appear to be really connected to the idea of the lines, not the spaces. So that's really what I'm talking about here. So that's the idea. So let's get going on this. So it says complete the bar graph. So first thing we're going to notice is here's our table. That's the data that we need. And we'll notice the table is called Various Animal Coverings at Jake's Pet Shops. All right. So that's going to be our title. So, oh my goodness, I have to write that title down. So various animal. And through the power of technology, I saved you the hassle of watching me write that. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we want to start, let's label. So we've got fur, feathers, shells, and scales. So they're talking about like what covers the animal. And so we're going to label that fur, feathers. We're going to label this shells. And then we're going to label this scales. And boy, I have horrible handwriting right now. All right. And now we can see, we also need to go down here. And since our largest number is 12, let's see, can we just write them as ones, go by intervals of 1? So we've got 0, 1. Let's fill that in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Yeah, we can. So we went by ones. And now we want to graph, we want to make a bar graph for 12 animals with fur. All right, so I'm going to use black, and I'm going to go kind of a thick ink here. And we want to go up to 12. So here's 12. So if we wanted to, we could count. We could go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And there is our bar graph. But, oh, let's color it in because we can. Let's make it red. All right. So there is our bar graph. And you'll notice the end of the bar goes straight to the 12 down here. And that's another reason why we want to make our numbers down here on the lines, because our bar graph, it's the length of this bar needs to go straight to the 12. And if you had written the 12 in the space, the bar would actually be longer. It would appear longer than the 12 where you wrote the 12, and that's no good. So anyway, so now we've got 9 feathers. So we're going to go to 9. So here's my 9, and so I'm going to just kind of speed it up a little bit. There's my 9, and let's shade that in. And then our shells is 8. So there's my, whoa! So now I want 8. So there's my 8 right there. And then lastly, scales is 11. So I'm going to go to 11 right there. And so there is our bar graph. Okay. And now, of course, once you've got your bar graph created, man, students can ask any number of questions. How many more people like, or how many more animals are covered with feathers than shells? Or what is the combined number of animals with fur and feathers? Okay. Or you could say, how many animals are there in the pet shop altogether? There's just so many different kinds of questions that our students could ask. And then the idea is, the last thing is, now this time we're going to do a vertical bar graph, and I'm going to go kind of quickly here on this. So first it says city shelter animal diets. So that's going to be our title, city shelter animal diets. That's our label. So the idea is that the label, the title for your table, and the title for your bar graph generally is going to be the exact same thing. And we have 3 categories. We have meat, plants, and meat and plants. So down here, I'm going to zoom in down here, and we're going to label this, let's just do M, P, M, N, and P. So meat only, plants only, meat and plants. And then you'll notice we have, here's the important thing with the tallies. We don't have to count all the individual tallies, because we know this clump right here is 5 plus 3 more is 8. So we know we have 8 animals that do meat only. All right, so we know that we're going to go up to 8. Oops, that's not where I want it. 8 right here. So there is our bar for meat. We see that plants is 9, so there is our bar for plants. And then lastly, meat and plants is 5 plus 5 is 10, plus 4 more is 14. Oh my goodness, that's going to go all the way to the top. And now, because we can, let's color it in, because it makes it look cooler. So there, there, and there. So now once we've drawn it, we can answer all of these questions. What's the total number of animals? That's another key word, total. Total is another word wall piece of vocabulary that you would put, especially for your language learners. How many more is another key phrase. Removed. So if we were to remove 3 animals, that's kind of like subtracting. And then write your own comparison question. This is a really awesome opportunity for students to demonstrate their individualization, how to differentiate themselves, because they can increase the complexity with their questions or lower the complexity of their questions depending on their ability level. And that wraps up Grade 2, Module 7, Lesson 3. We're drawing bar graphs and connecting those bar graphs to the number line.